Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien. In today's live stream, we're going to be talking about how Bitcoin is currently at $91,257. Congratulations to the Bitcoin investors and crypto market investors out there, because cryptocurrency in general is doing pretty good today. I know I got a lot to look at the charts here. Let me just clean things up a little bit for you. We'll look at just normal charts here. Bitcoin currently at $91,280, up $3,700 today, up 4.3%. And Bitcoin did what we needed it to do to become bullish again on Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin above the 200-day moving average, and that 200-day moving average is a spread line sitting at $88,371. So I want to see Bitcoin stay above $88,300, which it seems like it's comfortably above that level right now. So yeah, I think once we get the close for today, which is going to happen in the next about 3 hours from now, 2 hours and 51 minutes to be exact, we might see some more crazy price action going on to later on tonight. Now, what kind of crazy price action? I think, traders and investors are going to see that Bitcoin is above the 200-day moving average, and they're going to start putting in more money into the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency world market here, because that's the signal that some people need to see in order for them to become bullish again on Bitcoin. So, we dipped below the 200-day moving average. That started on March 9th here, okay? Where we got below that red line there. We came above, we played around with it, then we came down again, and we've been below this 200-day moving average for quite a while now, for like since the beginning of April here, okay? And now we're coming out of it before the end of April, so just a little bit of a scare there to get people, feeling some type of way about Bitcoin and crypto. We had that double bottom. That was a very crucial thing that we saw here on the first week of April. We saw Bitcoin at $74,400 on April 7th, and then we saw it come down again, retest that level at $74,500. That's when I was starting to become more bullish myself on the possibility that Bitcoin could be getting a reversal here. The reversal did say that we were going to come up to $90,000. Looking at the VRVP also told me that we could see $90,000. And then we had some bullish divergence that was starting to show up on the daily time frame here, also on the 4-hour time frame, that was confirming that buyers were stepping in to buy at these prices. And that double bottom was very crucial. That's the thing that sent us over. That actually happened after Donald Trump tweeted that there was going to be a 90-day pause on tariffs, which meant that he was willing to compromise and negotiate, that it wasn't going to be the end of the world with tariffs. But yeah, good to see that Bitcoin is above $90,000. Let me just turn on the VRVP here real quick, because you're going to see something here that's very crucial for the next price targets for Bitcoin. Okay, as I start to zoom out here a little bit, you're going to see that the VRVP is going to reset itself. And the most important level that I'm eyeballing right now for Bitcoin is this blue line here, the $96,000 level. That is my ultimate near-term take profit target on Bitcoin. Now that we hit some of these other targets of, like, once we got above $84,000 and then $87,000, up next was like $90,000 or $91,000, and we've hit those levels already today. Now there's a little bit of a gap here still that needs to be filled on the VRVP, and we might see some resistance at like 92, 93K. I'll show you the moving averages that might show the resistance there, but 96,000 is going to probably be the ultimate boss level resistance that we're going to have to face, because a lot of people over the last few months have bought Bitcoin and they sold Bitcoin at $96,000, but a lot of people are still underwater. And once they see that Bitcoin's at $96,000, if they're fed up with crypto and they don't want anything to do with cryptocurrency anymore, they're going to sell at $96,000 just to say that they broke even. And there's going to be a lot more selling pressure at those levels, guys. And also professional traders and investors, they already know about this phenomenon with the point of control. For those who use that indicator, and they're going to put in their sell orders, and they're going to put their shorts in at $96,000. And we'll just see if Bitcoin is able to break through and actually get past that $96,000 level to the value area high, which would be nice to see. That value area high is this white line currently sitting at like $102,000 Bitcoin. Okay, that would be a nice level to sell your Bitcoin if you're still in it. Okay, and you're not in it for the long term. $102,000, $103,000 Bitcoin could come up on deck. It could come into play here. And then that's when, you know, that's going to be another significant resistance level. If we can get past that point of control at $96,000, then comes $102,000 as the next boss level resistance. And then, you know, if we go past that, then we're going to be talking about going back to all-time highs of like $109,000 Bitcoin all over again. But we'll take it one step at a time. Okay. If Bitcoin for some reason is not able to sustain the levels that it's at right now, I do expect it to kind of revisit this high volume node here at 88K and also 87K could come back as a support level if we're not able to sustain the momentum going into tomorrow and later on this week. We could also could lose those levels, and then we could come back to the value area low, this white line right here at $84,500 now. Okay, that could be another support level for Bitcoin. And if that happens, then we have to start worrying about, you know, is this going to be a lower high? Because we want to see Bitcoin, if we're going to continue being bullish, we want to see Bitcoin get back up to that 96K level. But if this is going to be a lower high from where, you know, where we've been, then the bears might actually still be in control, and then we might see, you know, low 80s again, or maybe even 70K again. And then if that's the case, we want to then see if we're going to be able to put in a higher low. Maybe we put a higher low in at 84K or maybe 80K. And then we can just continue the bull run. Because right now we actually made a higher high on the daily time frame here. The higher high that we had to beat was this level here back on March 24th. Where Bitcoin got as high as like $88,804. We almost did that yesterday when we got to $88,575. Okay, but we needed to get up to $88,804, and we did that today. So we created a higher high so far on the daily time frame. Now we want to see if we can keep pushing it up for even higher high, or are we going to come back down and that will be the high for now, and then we make a higher low going into the next few days and weeks here. We'll see. Okay, but let me just show you some more resistance levels. I did say 96K is what I'm eyeballing for a resistance level, but there is another resistance level. If I pull up the moving averages here, and I'll do that here real quick here, you do have some moving average resistance that might come into play. You got the 50-day, this green line, 50-day moving average is possibly acting as resistance right now at $90,800. Okay, that we kind of already sliced through, but it is pushing us down right now. And then we have the 100-day, this blue line here, that is sitting at $93,000 Bitcoin. Okay, so $93,000 Bitcoin could be the next resistance level on our way to $96,000, which is going to probably be the ultimate resistance level going into the next few days and weeks here. Okay, let's see. Let me see who's in the chat here. I see Darren's here saying hi, and then he says that Ezra's saying hi. All right, awesome. That's cool. I'm glad to see that Ezra made it onto the live stream here. Let's go ahead and see what my TikTok streamers are saying right now. I have to kind of like scroll back here. Just give me a second here and see if what people have said. Most of it's just people joining the live stream. Okay, and then let's see. Yeah, let's see. We hit 96K and pulled back. That's what I'm thinking. User 124. I think 96K could be a significant resistance level, and then we pull back and make a higher low at some point. If we go past 96K, I'd be very, very impressed with Bitcoin, and that just creates more FOMO into the market, and then we can probably see what 100K if we're going past 96K without any significant resistance. All right, Sean Ross is in the chat saying he's got to ask something. Well, go ahead and ask. Okay, Isaiah is saying took a $50,000 loan to provide SOL liquidity. We came in at $118. What's my take on SOL? We'll take a look at SOL. Thank you for the request. If you gotta write me a list or two, Sean. All right, you don't know if you gotta write me a letter or a table question. I'm not sure what that question's about. Isaiah is saying $7,000 in fees since March 10th. Okay. And then Mara is saying, do you think Bitcoin will have a pullback anytime soon? Mara, I just covered it just now. I don't know if you joined the live stream just now, but I see some resistance at 93K, which is the 100-day moving average. And then 96K is going to be the level because a lot of people bought and sold at that level, $96,000 over the last few weeks and months here. So that's going to be a level where if people want to give up on Bitcoin and crypto, but they want to say that they broke even and not say that they took a loss, then there's a lot of people at $96,000 that probably want to get out, okay, out of Bitcoin and just to break even. So $96,000 is the level that I think we'll pull back from. But let's go ahead and take a look at Solana, since that was the first request, and it's one of the high market cryptocurrencies. All right, I should probably get rid of some of these lines here, but I was, eyeballing some chart work here. I did have about $147 was a nice level that I think Solana is gonna probably get resistance at. Right now, the price of Solana is trading at $145, so it's not that far from that resistance level that I charted out with the red line there. Solana is up 6.5% today. It was up a little bit higher. It actually did get up to that $147 level. $147.80 is a strong resistance level for Solana. I looked at the charts here. Okay. We want to see Solana flip that resistance, right, to support. So we'll see how it does. It's probably going to trade sideways for a little bit unless Bitcoin just continues running up towards 100K. Then Solana's probably going to do the same. Well, Solana will try to run up with Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin starts heading to 96K and we break past this $147 level, we do have like a first take profit level of $164, which is where the 50-day moving average is, this green line here. That could be the first resistance level for Solana as it climbs up. Ultimate resistance is going to be right where the 200 and 100-day is sitting at, this red and blue line here, at $180. I think $180 is going to be an ultimate resistance level for Solana. Let me go ahead and pull up the VRVP so you can see what that chart has to show here. Okay, and the VRVP is showing us that there's a value area high for Solana right now at like $197. So if we make it past $180, I do expect like $197 or even $200 to probably be like ultimate take profit level. There'll be a lot of resistance there. But you can see right now, the point of control for Solana is this blue line. I know there's a lot of work here on the charts here. But this blue line is sitting at $141. If Solana can use that as a support, right, it could probably springboard and start heading up to higher prices if it can use that $141 as a support level. And then, we have a gap here in the VRVP. And then, like I said, there's some resistance probably at the $169, $167 level, which is where the 50-day was hanging out at. And then I'm expecting some resistance at $180, and then $200 should be ultimate take profit level. Now, if Bitcoin decides to go down, it can ruin the party for these altcoins, and we could see Solana come right down, probably get some support off this white line here, which is where the value area low is at, and that would be about $124 Solana. could be a support level. That could also be where Solana creates a higher low before it goes up to higher highs here. Now let me just get rid of this red line. I don't think that red line is needed anymore. And then let's see. Yeah, I think this other red line, I don't need that anymore. But yeah, we pretty much hit the targets, the short-term targets for Solana. And now we're just waiting for Solana to turn $147 into a support level and then use that as a springboard to go to higher prices here. And it could go up really fast, really quick, really hard here because there's not that much volume between where we are right now up to like 180 bucks. There might be some resistance at 167, but I'm eyeballing about 180 bucks for Solana. Let's see. Yeah, we could take a look at XRP. And all right, I'm just reading Mars comment here. Don't think Bitcoin will have a pullback to 89 or 78. Yeah, I did talk about that, Mar. You just missed my coverage on Bitcoin. I do think that Bitcoin could possibly come down to 84 or 87K short term. If it's not able to hold 84K, then it might come down to like 79 or 78. Yeah. We'll just have to eyeball it. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart again one more time later on in the stream here, but let me just keep it moving on with the other coins here. We have a request for XRP, so let's take a look at XRP. Okay, and then we'll take a look at Ethereum after that and Cardano. All right. So we have XRP currently trading at $2.16, up 4% today. Nice solid day. I got the VRVP showing a lot of data here. Just taking all this data from back in April of 2024, about a year ago. We do have a value area high at $2.35, so that could be a short-term take profit target for the bulls here. But let me just zoom in and just show you the data from like the beginning of November of last year. And now the VRVP is showing some interesting stuff here. We got the point of control, that blue line, is currently sitting at like $2.41. So anywhere between like $2.35 to $2.41 is my next bull target on XRP Ripple here. We are currently sitting at a high volume node here at 216, but you can see there's a little bit of a gap here, and we should come up to like 230 in no time if we continue being bullish. And then 240 is probably going to be the next boss level resistance here, where a lot of people bought Ripple ever since like beginning of December. They've been buying it like $2.40 on average. So anybody that wants to get out of Ripple because they're done with crypto, they're probably going to sell it at 240. But then once we make it past 240, look at this. This is a very steep drop in the VRVP. And it's saying that, you know, XRP Ripple could come up to the value area high at like $3.08 here. Okay. XRP has that capability of going up really high, really quick and fast here, because, I mean, look what it did here back in March 2nd. You know, we started the day at $2.19 and we shot up to like $3. Okay. It can do that. Like, it went up 34% in one day. I feel like that could happen again if we make it past 240 again on Ripple. Let me go ahead and pull up the moving averages here real quick on Ripple so you can see if there's any other resistance out there. And yeah, you got some moving averages that might provide some resistance. You got the 100-day moving average at $2.38. So like I said, you know, 240, okay, is going to be a significant resistance level for Ripple going forward. And then also the 50-day is sitting at $2.46. That's another, you know, once again, 240, 250. Once you get past 250, then $3 is next on deck for Ripple. And then as far as like support area goes, I like the fact that Ripple is above the 200-day moving average, and it's been above the 200-day moving average for a while now. 200-day moving average is currently sitting at $1.95. If you're lucky enough to see Ripple go back to $1.95 or below $2, it seems to be a good area to scoop up some cheap, relatively cheap Ripple. And then you're looking to see if, you know, you can ride that up to like $3 on Ripple or even higher. Because, I mean, looking at Ripple, and I still think this is in play, but, you know, for those of you who are chart pattern traders and investors here, this looks like one big giant bull flag to me. on the daily time frame here. Okay. And if Ripple, you know, you just take the measure move from this flagpole and you put it on top of the flag here that Ripple's creating, and it says that Ripple has a profit a profit target of $5.16. That blue number there. Okay, so we still might see $5 later on in 2025 for Ripple, for the long-term bulls out there. All right. So yeah, we said Ripple, and then I think I was going to talk about Cardano and Ethereum here. Guys, if you're liking the analysis so far, go ahead and hit that like button so we can get some more people to show up on this live stream, and I can help them out, help them read the charts, figure out what the, you know, the bullish and bearish price targets are for these assets. Thank you for hitting that like button, appreciate it. And if you're new to the live stream and you like this analysis and you want to see more of it, go ahead and hit that follow button if you're on TikTok. And for my YouTube guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, getting into Cardano here. We're looking at Cardano currently trading at 65 cents. I have some previous Fibonacci analysis work here on Cardano. I want to see Cardano get back up to like 72 cents, which is the 0.382 retracement level from this big move that it made back in like November of last year. Okay, 72 cents I believe is also where the kind of like where the 200-day moving average is sitting at. So I think 75 cents should be the first take profit target if you're day trading Cardano, or you know, short-term swing trading it. 75 cents should be like the next resistance level. And then after that, I mean, the Fib analysis is saying like 83 cents, which I think kind of corresponds to this 100-day, I'm sorry, this 50-day moving average. You see the, I'm sorry, it is 100-day. The 100-day moving average, this blue line is sitting at 85 cents, and that corresponds to this 0.5 fib level at 83 cents roughly. So that's probably, I would say, the next bullish targets for Cardano is like 72 to 75 cents, and then 83 to 85 cents is probably your next near-term realistic bull targets on Cardano. Okay, now let's go into the VRVP. Let's see what the VRVP has to say. Okay, go ahead and turn on that VRVP. And the VRVP is showing, you know, with all this data that we're looking at, point of control for Cardano is way down here. I don't think we have to worry about that unless we're going to continue being bearish. But you got a high volume node here at like 72 cents. So like I said, there's that, you know, 72 cent level. It corresponds, it has confluence with this Fibonacci level at 0.382. You got 72 cent Cardano. Very important level. It's going to be your first resistance level. And then you got another high volume node here at like 80 cents roughly. And then you got a gap after that. And then, you know, we did say that like 85 cents probably the next take profit level for Cardano. But you do have a value area high. This should be probably your ultimate take profit target. This white line is the value area high at like 95, 96 cents. Makes sense because, you know, some people are going to probably try to sell their Cardano at $1. You know, they probably put in a limit order saying, hey, I'm going to sell my Cardano at $1. When it gets back to $1, I'm going to sell it, right? But there's probably going to be some people who are going to try to sell it before it gets to $1 just to front run the people that are planning on selling at $1. So I think 95, 96 cents makes a lot of sense to sell your Cardano. Okay, if you want to front run and you're anxious to sell your Cardano. Okay, it also happens to be where a fib level is at. This 0.618 level is saying that 95 cents. So you got some confluence saying that 95 cents should be your take profit target on Cardano. Maybe that happens later on in the summer. Okay, maybe you might see a $1 Cardano in the summer. All right, Cyrus, you're saying everybody needs to know right now when the pullback will be. Cyrus, you talking about the pullback for Bitcoin? We already covered Bitcoin price targets. I see 93K could possibly be a pullback level. I mean, we're already at a level right now where we could pull back. But 96K is probably the ultimate pullback level for Bitcoin. Be careful with that level. There's a lot of resistance at 96K. Okay. So that would be probably the level. And we're going to pay attention to like the RSI when we get there. We're going to see how overheated we are when we get to 96K. And that could be your pullback level for Bitcoin. Slick Rick is saying, altcoins trust the process. Sell in May and back away. I mean, that could possibly be the play, you know. If we continue on with this rally in April, we might have to sell in May and go away. And that's a saying that came from the stock market. But it kind of applies to crypto as well. Because usually in the summertime is not the best time to be in crypto. Or stocks for that matter. And that's where the sell in May go away. And then you can come back in like August or even September, buy the lows, and then try to ride up the market. If you're like one of those seasonal investor guys, you know, I said in previous live streams, you know, in previous videos, I believe sell in May and go away is an actual thing, because traders and investors, they take a vacation during the summer and they use that money in the stock market to pay for their summer vacations. And then even in like August and September, some of these investors, they sell their stocks to pay for their kids' college education. And then we don't really start seeing the stock market running up until the end of September or October after they pay for their tuition. Same thing with crypto as well. They'll sell their crypto in the summer and September, and then crypto starts going back up again in like October, November. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at Ethereum now. And then I'm still taking some requests here, guys. If you guys have any other cryptos or even stocks, if you want me to take a look at stocks here. We're looking at Ethereum right now, currently trading at $1,700, $1,724 to be exact, on Coinbase Exchange. Up $145, up 9% today. Congratulations. Kathleen, we already talked about Cardano, and I will look at the stacks for you. Appreciate that request. And you gave me another one, Link Algo. Oh my God, you got so many requests here. I'll start off with stacks first, and we'll see if I got the energy to do the rest here. Slick Rick, you kind of missed my price prediction for Ripple. I want to see Ripple get up to 240 and see how it reacts at that level. And if it can go from 240 to 250, it can probably go straight to $3 after 250, because there's not that much resistance after that. But yeah, we're looking at Ethereum. Let's get back into the analysis here for Ethereum. Look at the VRVP for Ethereum. Ethereum is right below its value area low at like 1750 here. Once we get past 1750, you have another resistance level at $1,900 for Ethereum, and then a steep gap here in the VRVP data, and then you know you got a little bit of high volume node here at like $2,400. But right now, the point of control for Ethereum is currently sitting at $2,600. $2,600 Ethereum is a level that a lot of people bought Ethereum at over the last 6 months now, or even 8 months, since back in like August here. Anybody that is sick and fed up with Ethereum is probably going to sell at $2,600 just to say that they broke even on it. And that's going to be where a lot of selling pressure is going to happen for Ethereum. So that's going to be like a boss level resistance for Ethereum going forward if we get to that level. But if Ethereum can then break past that $2,600 level, look at this. You got another steep gap here. And you might see a little bit of resistance at $3,100. But Ethereum wants to get back to that value area high at $3,300. Is going to be my ultimate take profit target on Ethereum. I wouldn't say Ethereum will get to $3,300 until maybe in the summer months here, maybe later on in 2025. But that's the ultimate take profit target, just looking at the VRVP here for Ethereum. And if I turn on the moving averages, it's probably going to make you want to throw up. But you got some moving averages showing some resistance levels here on the daily chart. You got the 50-day would be the next resistance at $2,300, that green line right there. And then the 100 and the 200 is kind of like neck and neck with each other, showing some resistance at like $2,700 Ethereum. Okay, that could be the next resistance level. If Ethereum gets above $2,700, I would be back to being cautiously optimistic and bullish on Ethereum here. And then you could say maybe if it gets to 2,700, maybe you could try for 3,300. Maybe. Appreciate the follow there, Wild Animals. Glad to see that you joined the Meet Damien community here. If you guys are enjoying this analysis, don't forget to hit that follow button. Let's see. Kathleen, I think I'll get onto some of your requests here. You did say you have 10 bands split into alts. What would you do if you were me? You say $10,000, and you're trying to get into altcoins, I believe. I mean, make sure you get Bitcoin first, okay? Don't forget Bitcoin. Bitcoin's gonna go up first before the altcoins do. But the altcoins, when they do try to catch up with Bitcoin, some of them can outperform Bitcoin. Some good performers that I liked, you know, I myself, I'm not gonna give you financial advice, but I myself, I'm big on Solana. I'm also big on Sui, okay, because those are some of the fastest and cheapest cryptocurrencies to use. You can see that Solana's up like 6.6% today, and Sui's up 14%. So those are some good cryptos. Aptos is another coin that's like similar to Sui. They're like kind of like twin brothers. They have like almost the same kind of technology. Look up the movement technology. Do some research on those two coins there. AVAX is another good layer 1 crypto, and don't forget Ripple. Okay, and then Cardano. We've already looked at some of these cryptos earlier in the live stream if you want to look at what I said about those cryptos. But yeah, continue doing your research, and you know, I would stick to like the top 10 cryptos. You know, if you want to split it evenly, just put $1,000 on the top 10 that you can buy on your cryptocurrency exchange, and I think you'll do all right. But make sure you buy Bitcoin first, because Bitcoin's gonna go up first, then the altcoins. That's how it's always been. I've been trading and investing Bitcoin and crypto since 2017, and I've always noticed that Bitcoin goes up first, and then the altcoins goes up, and then Bitcoin goes down, and it brings the rest of the altcoins down with it. All right. So yeah, let's try to look at some of your requests here. You have Stacks, I believe, was your next one, and we already looked at Cardano, but we'll take a look at Stacks, and then we'll take a look at Chainlink here. All right, Stacks. Currently trading at 81 cents, up 16%. Congratulations for the Stacks investors out there. You have some moving average resistance that I can see might cause a little bit of trouble. You got the 50-day. Professional investors and traders, they use these moving averages to help guide them as to like when they should be buying or selling. Some of them are going to try to sell at this 50-day moving average at 87 cents. That could be the next resistance for Stacks, which is not that far away. Let's see, did Stacks even, it got up as high as almost 83 cents today. So it's getting close at that 50-day moving average. If it does get to that 50-day, it'll probably go sideways for a little bit before then trying to go back up again. And then you got the 100-day sitting at $1.24 could be the next resistance level. And then $1.38. What I'm seeing here on Stacks, though, is you already are overheated and overbought. You got like a 71.63 on the RSI. Okay. Anytime you're above 70, you're considered overbought. So I'm expecting Stacks to probably go sideways first before it this RSI cools down, and then it's able to try to make a run to higher prices here. So keep that in mind. Okay, stochastic RSI is also pretty high as well, so that's another thing you got going against you right now. And I'll just look at the VRVP here real quick. VRVP is saying that there is a high volume node here at like 90 cents, so that could be another resistance level. And then you got a gap And then it's saying like $1.30 could be like the next resistance level for stacks. Okay, you're above the point of control. Point of control is at 62 cents. If it comes down and retests 62 cents, that probably might be a good area to buy some more relatively cheap stacks before this thing creates a higher low and goes up to higher prices here. All right, moving on to Chainlink. And man, I mean, I'll take a look at the Polkadot for more, and then I'll go back to these other requests that Kathleen gave me. You gave me a bunch of requests here. But yeah, we'll look at Chainlink, and then we'll take a look at Polkadot. Chainlink is currently trading at $13.90. Just looking at the VRVP data here. Point of control, very important level to note, write this down, is at $11.33 for Chainlink. If Chainlink decides to come down, you would want to see that it respects that level, creates a higher low before you go to higher prices here. Right now, you're kind of already at a high volume node for Chainlink at this $14 level here. But if we can move past this resistance at $14, then, you know, you got a gap here. And then I think you have like the next significant resistance level at like $18 for Chainlink. And then some more resistance, about like $20 on Chainlink. And then you got the value area high, which is probably going to be your ultimate take profit target. Anything more than that, you're asking for a lot. But Chainlink could come up to like $21.69 for the value area high. Let's go back into the moving averages here. Moving averages for resistance levels. I'm eyeballing this 200 moving average at $17. I think we already said like $17 or $18 was going to be a resistance level for Chainlink, so keep that in mind. Then you got a 100-day moving average at like $18.88. But this thing, by the time Chainlink gets up to the 100-day moving average, the resistance might be right at 18 bucks, kind of like right where that 200-day moving average is sitting at. So I'm expecting $18 to be like the next resistance level for Chainlink, for the VRVP, and also for the moving averages, showing that resistance there. All right, moving on to Polkadot. And take a look at Polkadot, currently trading at $3.96. This one's up almost 5% today. I think we were looking at Polkadot was in a falling wedge for the most part here. Falling wedges, they do break out to the upside 90%, I'm sorry, not 90, 70% of the time. And if it did, I did have a measured move. I mean, I was kind of treating this almost like as a bull flag here, okay? And I just take that measured move, the flagpole, the impulse move up to the top that it made here, and I just drag that measured move here to like where Chainlink is right now, and the chart pattern for the falling wedge bull flag here is saying that Polkadot could get up to like $9.31, that blue number right there. So keep that number in mind. All right, but yeah, let's just zoom in here real quick on Polkadot. You can see that we've been making higher lows, obviously, and we've also are beginning to start making higher. I mean, we made lower lows on the price here, and we're making higher lows here on the RSI. So that's the beginning of bullish divergence, which could be the beginning of a reversal, which I think is starting to play out with Polkadot right now. If Polkadot continues climbing up higher, I want to see it get above this recent high here at about $4.76. If we can get above 476, that is that would be a higher high, and you know that Polkadot is starting to make a bull trend here. You also got some resistance from this 50-day moving average sitting at 477. So yeah, 477, 476. Seems to be like, I'm sorry, actually, was it 476? Man, I said the wrong thing here. I'm sorry. 567. I read that wrong. 567 is the high that we need to get above to make a higher high on Polkadot here. And 477 could be like the next resistance on according to the 50-day moving average. All right, so you got 476 and 567. Those are the levels. You might want to mark that on your chart here. I'll go ahead and do that right now for myself. I want to see Polkadot get above that level, basically $4.80, and then we can continue being bullish on Polkadot. Let's go ahead and look at the VRVP now. See what some high volume nodes might be at. So we got the point of control right now on Polkadot at $4.16. That could be the short-term resistance level. Polkadot might go a little bit sideways before it starts to break out with higher prices here. But if it does do that, then yeah, $4.08 will probably be the next target here, according to the VRVP. And then after that, you got a gap here, and then you can see like $5.77 here on Polkadot. And then, you know, it just, you know, another gap here, and then resistance probably at 630, because you got some people that traded sideways, settled up at like $6.40 here. So that's probably going to be another take profit resistance level for some people out there. But ultimately, value area high sitting right now at this white line at like $7.24. All right. Okay. And then if Polkadot for some reason goes down and you're able to get it at a cheaper price, then you got the value area low providing support at $3.36. So $3.36 could be a good area to put in some buy orders in case we drop down again. You might be able to get some cheaper Polkadot. All right, Kathleen is asking me about, oh my God, Kathleen, you got all these requests. Nair, ICP, Super, BeamX. I don't know if I can cover all these cryptos here. I'm still trying to cover the ones you gave me previously. You gave me Algo and AVAX. I was going to take a look at AVAX and then Algo. Actually, excuse me for 1 second here, guys. I need to get some more water. Give me like a 1 minute break here. All right. We'll take a look at AVAX, and then we'll look at Algo. So now we're looking at AVAX chart. AVAX currently trading at $22, up about 10% today. Congratulations, AVAX investors. And AVAX has made like this double bottom chart pattern that we eyeballed here. Okay. And that kind of like similar to like what Bitcoin did, but this is a little bit more spread out with a few more days here. And for those who don't know how to chart or measure the measure move on a double bottom, you just measure, right? You got one bottom here, another bottom here. They're within 1 to 3% away from each other to qualify as a double bottom. You just measure from where the double bottom's at to the top in between the two bottoms. You take that measure move, you put it on top of the top in between the two bottoms. And it says that there's a measure move target of about $32.25, that blue number there on AVAX. Okay. So keep that number in mind. That could be a long-term take profit target on AVAX. But as we start climbing up here on AVAX, we want to see that AVAX stays above the point of control. If it does come down to the point of control at $18.80, we want to see it use that as support, back test it, and use it as a spring to bounce up to higher prices here. And we got some resistance probably at like $26 for AVAX. You got a high volume node here. Okay, you also see like you made some high candle wicks over here at like $26, $27. So that could be like a short-term take profit target, 26, 27 bucks. Then you got a little bit, yeah, maybe like 26, yeah, 26, 27 bucks should be your take profit target in the short term. But then you got this gap in the VRVP. And then you come up to the resistance, a little bit of resistance at 32 bucks, which is where our double bottom price target's at. Also happens to be like where we have some candlewick lows here from people that bought in January at like 32 bucks. So probably long-term target should be 32 bucks on AVAX. But if you want to push it a little bit further and you think this thing is going higher, then we might see this crypto come up to the value area high at 38 bucks. 38 bucks is where a lot of people settled up here back in like January and December. Okay, so that might be an area where you might get some more sellers coming in trying to take profit on their AVAX Avalanche asset here. All right, and then I'll take a look at Algo. And then I want to see if there's anybody else here with any other requests, because I did a lot just for Kathleen there. I think Kathleen, I'm sorry, I can't look at your whole entire portfolio here because I got other people that want to put in a request. But we'll take a look at Algo next. And then Hero contracting, we've already talked about XRP Ripple early in the last stream. My short-term price targets on Ripple is $2.50 and $2.40. If we can get past, you know, 240, 250 level, then $3 is next for Ripple. And then I have an ultimate long-term price target of like $5, maybe later on this year for Ripple XRP. Yeah. And then you know, bearish targets wise, Ripple needs to stay above $1.95, because if not, then it's going to come down to like $1.75 or even $1.45. So those are that's my summary analysis on Ripple. Jay Juan's asking, why is the market pumping right now? Market is pumping right now because Bitcoin is pumping right now. And Bitcoin's pumping right now because it seems like the safest asset to be in, because the stock market's been going down, so you can't make money in stocks. And then the bond market, the treasuries have been going down in price, but interest rates have been spiking up. So you can't really make money on your treasuries and your bonds. So where do you go? If you can't use the stock market, can't use bond market to make money, you could try real estate or opening up your own business. But if you don't have, you know, real estate or a business, then where do you go next? You could probably try putting your money in Bitcoin. And I think that's what's going on right now. That's why the markets are pumping up. But I think the stock market's having a good day today too. They're talking about doing some trade deals, so that's getting the stock market excited that we're not going to go into a depression. So hope that answers your question about why the markets are pumping. Oh, really? That's news to me, Nova. You saying that Trump announced that he's going to reduce tariffs on China about 20 minutes ago? I'm going to have to look up at that news at some point. Maybe I can look it up on the live stream here with you guys. But let me get into Algo here for my request here from, I believe, Kathleen. And then we can take a look at the news later, and then look at Bitcoin as well. And then, did I miss? Was there any other requests here besides Algo? XRP, and then Frank Papa wants me to look at Dogecoin. Yeah, I can look at Dogecoin after Algo here. Okay. Yes, I'll look at Dogecoin for you. Just give me a minute here, because I have another request that came in before that. We're looking at Algo currently right now at 20 cents, up 7.4% today. And Algo, wow, has been brutally beaten down in this little mini bear market that we had for the altcoins here. None of this chart work applies anymore, so let me just clean this up now, because this doesn't apply. Doesn't apply, got invalidated, we broke down. But you can see the point of control for algo is at 18.5 cents, roughly. We can use that as a support area, but if algo continues being bullish, then you got a gap in the VRVP. You might get a little bit of resistance at 24 cents, but I see a high volume node here that says that this thing could go up to like 29 cents, roughly 29 or 30 cents. Then you got another gap here, and then you might see some more resistance at like 34 cents. But ultimately, your value area high, which should be your ultimate price target for 2025 for algo, is sitting at like 43 cents. This thing could still do a 2x in the future here. And you can strategically plan to not have that much of a loss here by putting a stop loss at the value area low at 16 or 17 cents here. And if you go below 16 cents, then that probably means algo is going to go down and continue going down to lower prices here. And you probably don't want to take any more of a beating on your algo investment. And if algo does lose 16 cents and hits your stop loss, then you got a high volume node here at like 12 cents says that you could probably try again and buy at 12 cents for algo. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe this is the bottom being formed on algo. I want to see it get above this last high that it made here at 21 cents. So maybe 22 cents, and we can call that a higher high in the beginning of a bull trend here for algo. All right, moving on to Dogecoin. And then we'll take a look at that news for Donald Trump. That's news to me. We're looking at Dogecoin, currently up 11.8% today, almost at 18 cents. We're looking at the VRVP. The VRVP, for those who don't know, is these green and red bars on the right side. Very important level to keep in mind is this blue line here at the point of control. That's where 50% of the volume is in this trading range that we're looking at. It means that 50% of people bought and sold this asset at that price of like 16 cents. So a lot of people are breaking even if the price gets up to that level, okay? Then you got the value area low here on Dogecoin at 10 cents. It means about like 15% of the volume is sitting at that level, okay? So yeah, you got like, if Dogecoin continues being bearish, then you might get a bounce in a reaction off that level at 9 or 10 cents here. And then of course the value area high would be your ultimate take profit target on Dogecoin, and that's where another 15% of the volume is sitting at. 50% of the people that bought Dogecoin in the last few months here, they bought Dogecoin at 37 cents. So once it gets up to 37 cents, you know, all these people that bought Dogecoin at this level here, they're going to want to sell and break even and move on with their lives if they don't want to continue being invested in Dogecoin. Okay, so that's my ultimate take profit target on Dogecoin, which is still like a double from where it is right now. You could double your money on Dogecoin. Near term resistance is going to be about 19-20 cents, psychological 20 cents, so keep that in mind. All right, but yeah, I want to see Dogecoin get above that recent high here of 20 cents. So if Dogecoin get up to like 21 cents, we could say that Dogecoin is also in a bull trend and going to higher highs here. Sacred, let's see, Sacred, I'm trying to read your name. Yeah, Sacred Sharkaway. You're asking about Tesla and Roadrunner. We're looking at Dogecoin right now. I believe that's DOGE USD. You can find that on Coinbase Exchange and other cryptocurrency exchanges. And then Nova is asking me about Ethereum Classic. Okay. And then Jeff, I think you asked me about this yesterday, didn't you? TARS AI. I think we can look at that one, yeah. But I want to look at the news here real quick, guys, because someone just said that Trump reduce the tariffs here. Hey HQZ, see that you're in the chat. Discord notification. Okay, and then Matt Damon. Are you calling me Matt Damon? I'm wearing the Patriot jersey. I guess that's probably why he thinks I look like Matt Damon here. From Boston. I don't know, that's not even a Boston accent. Boston. Alright. Park the car in the lobster bar. I parked the car over at the lobster bar. Alright, let's see. Let's take a look at the news here. Trump, tariffs. What the hell? This thing named... Hey, come on. Trump, tariffs, Google search. Yeah. Someone said something about China. I mean, if this is really news, then it might not hit. But let me see. China tariffs, maybe. Yeah, I don't really see anything about them saying that they're reducing tariffs on China. Just this article here 23 minutes ago saying that they expect the tariff standoff for China to de-escalate. Yeah, I don't really see. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, they want to make a deal. They want to de-escalate things with China, but I don't really see anything here saying that they actually reduce the tariffs and what the number might be now. Looking at Bloomberg News here. Oh, of course, they want me to subscribe. Yeah, in order to read the article. Yeah, screw that. All right, we don't really need to look at the charts. I mean, look at the news, because the charts will tell us what the news is going to be. Let's get back to looking at the charts here again. What's the request here? Let's see. Ethereum Classic and then TARS AI. And then what else? Tesla. Alright, we'll take a look at I haven't looked at Ethereum Classic in a while. Glad you made the request though, because I have not looked at Ethereum Classic in I don't think in months, to be honest. Ethereum Classic, $16.71, up almost 7% today. Ethereum Classic has been gotten beaten down just like Ethereum, regular Ethereum, I should say. And Ethereum Classic is below the value area low and the point of control, and of course this is below the value area high. So there's a lot of room to run if Ethereum Classic decides to go to higher prices here. We would want to see Ethereum Classic get above this most recent high here, around like 18-19 bucks here. That's also happens to be where there's a lot of a high volume node here at 1842 on the VRVP here. And then there's a gap here, and then Ethereum Classic could get up to this $20, 2020 is what I'm reading right now, is where the value area low is sitting at. $20 should be your next take profit target on Ethereum Classic. And then look at this. Big gap in the VRVP. Maybe some resistance at 23 bucks, but then another gap. And then now we start getting some resistance at like $25. And $25 is where a lot of people bought Ethereum Classic in January and February. So anybody that bought Ethereum Classic at that level is going to want to break even. And there's going to be some selling pressure at that level. But the point of control, where a majority of people bought Ethereum Classic on average, is sitting at like $26.88. We'll just call it 27 bucks. So $27 should be your take profit target for Ethereum Classic. And then I'm not sure how Ethereum Classic is going to react to that level. It's probably going to get rejected. But if it's going to continue being bullish, then you want to see Ethereum Classic make past that $27 point of control level. And then you want to see it try to maybe reclaim this high volume node here at 33 bucks. And then ultimately, your value area high is probably going to be your ultimate take profit target at like 37 bucks. You'll double your money with Ethereum Classic and then some. But it's not going to probably stay at that level for too long, because look at this, like $37 Ethereum Classic was only like 3 days back in December during like the peak of the little altcoin season that we had in December. Okay, so that's how I would play Ethereum Classic. Let's see, I got somebody here saying something about Discord. I'll take a look at the Discord later. And then, yeah, we talked about Ethereum Classic. And then, what's out? TARS AI. And then we'll look at Tesla. And I think that's going to be it for my requests here, guys. Talked a lot about a lot of these cryptos and stocks here. I got to make some dinner later. Vino, the indicator I'm using, the one on the right, I think a lot of people keep asking me about this indicator. That's the VRVP, the volume range visual profile that you can find on TradingView. Okay, VRVP. And the way I set this thing up, right, I go over the settings. I look at the style here. I want to make sure that I click on value area high and value area low. So those are the white lines that you see. And then the point of control, I usually make that blue for myself. And then the inputs, make sure that your row size is probably going to say 24. I just add a 0. I like to have 240 on my row size for the VRVP. And then you get an indicator that looks like this. That's the VRVP. All right, so I think the next one is TARS AI. Yeah, TARS AI. What did I don't know. AI. TARS, what, USD? I think I saw it over here. TARS AI on gate.io. Alright, so looking at TARS AI right now. Currently trading at 0.54 cents. 5.5 cents roughly. Wow, up 41% today. What the hell is going on here? I know the AI cryptos have been getting a lot of love this past weekend. Looks like TARS AI is getting a little bit more love going into this week here. Okay, you know, and I say back here on Saturday, wow, TARS AI was up 38% on Saturday. Where it opened at 2.5 cents, closed the day out at 3.5 cents. Continue on, had a good Sunday, went up another 12%. Then what, on Monday, a little bit of a red day, but now here we are on Tuesday, and this thing is up 40% today. Wow. Well, it got as high as like almost 6 cents, but now we're trading at 5.5 cents. Okay, maybe we're finally getting some the start of a bull run here for TARS AI. Now I want to see TARS AI get above this last high here that it made on March 24th when it was as high as like 7.5 cents. Also happens to be a good high volume, a little bit of high volume on the VRVP here. About 7 cents, 7.5 cents. So basically, I want to see 8 cents on TARS AI, and then I know that this thing is trying to make a higher high, and then we're going to be looking for a higher low at some point here. Wow. You can see that we made some lower lows in the past here, so I believe there was some bullish divergence here on TARS AI. Let me go into the RSI here, see what's going on. Yeah, let's see. We were making lower lows on price. I think we were making, yeah, it looks like we were making kind of like making a higher low here on RSI. We're definitely making higher lows now on the RSI. So this could be the beginning of a reversal for TARS AI. And if TARS AI continues being bullish, then, you know, the next resistance level might be as high as like 13, 14 cents here, where the 50-day moving average is sitting at. And then you got the 200-day moving average sitting at about 19 cents. So this thing could 4x before it gets a significant resistance. after 200-day moving average. Wow. Okay. Okay. And let me just see if I can pull the VRVP here real quick with the other indicators as well. And the VRVP, we got a high volume node here, like 15 cents, which is kind of like where the 50-day moving average is sitting at. So I would be targeting 14 cents as take profit target for TARS. And that's still almost like a 3x from where you are right now. This might be a big money maker for somebody out there. Whoever requested that, if you got some of this, I think you got yourself a winner, especially if it's in the AI space. And then you can just put the stop loss at the value area low here at like 2 cents. So you're still risking about like 60% from where you are right now. You can see how this 21 EMA is starting to curve up. Maybe you could put the stop loss right where the 21 EMA is at to save yourself too many losses here. So like 21 EMA is this white line here, and that's currently sitting at like 3 cents. So you probably put your, and that's also where like the point of control is at. So I would try to buy some more of this at 3 cents if I can, if it does get down that low. See if it comes back, creates a higher low off the point of control here, and go up to higher prices from there on. And you got a little bit of risk for a lot of reward on this crypto. I think you got yourself a winner. And then the value area high is sitting at like 29 cents. So that's like a 6x. 100 and 200 is at like 20 cents. So 4x maybe? But you got 4x or possibly 6x for your long-term take profit targets. We shall see. Getting me excited here. I might want to get some of this. I might want to get some TARS AI. Where do I buy it? Gate.io? Okay. Then what's the other one that we had here? Tesla, I believe. Tesla was the We've already talked about Solana, Jeff. Earlier on the live stream. You can go back and rewatch the live stream if you can. You should be able to rewatch it. Just go onto my profile and you should be able to see my live streams here. But I'll briefly touch upon Solana. And then let's see. Yeah, Solana was like one of the first cryptos we looked at right after Bitcoin. And then you got a request for Uphold. Alright, I'm gonna probably make Uphold my last one I'll look at. And then I gotta make some dinner here, guys. But we're gonna look at Tesla next. Let's take a look at Tesla from my buddy Shockaway. Alright, so I'll just clean this thing up here. We'll just look at the VRVP like we normally been looking at. And you can see that Tesla is up what was that, up 4% today? Did they have some good news for earnings? Alright, let's see what this thing is saying. Tesla is set to report quarterly earnings after the market closes on Tuesday, attracting attention from traders as they prepare for the financial results. Was that the earnings report right here? Tuesday, April 22nd. Tesla reported earnings of about 27 cents. They were estimating 41 cents. That's a surprise of about 14 cents or 34% less than expected. Revenue came in at 19.34 billion. They were expecting 21.2 billion, so down 9% from what they were expecting. And Tesla's already been beaten down. That's probably why this stock is actually going up today, and also going up for the aftermarket hours here. Probably because it's not as bad as they thought it was going to be. for their earnings. This stock, like I said, already been beaten down. We saw what Tesla as high as like 470 bucks here, 480 bucks back in December. And look at the VRVP here. A lot of volume here. The point of control is sitting at 172 bucks. If Tesla was continuing to be bearish, you might get a reaction and some support off 170 bucks. But right now, just currently where Tesla's sitting at, like 237, 240, you got a high volume node here at 249, so that might be where Tesla trades tomorrow. And if it continues being bullish, then you get the value area high saying that a lot of people would like to sell their Tesla at 264 bucks. So that's your short-term take profit target for Tesla, 264. Okay, happens to be where some of the highs were made back here in like July of 2024. In September, October 2024, you had, 264 bucks was a level that people sold off their Tesla. So you might want to consider selling your Tesla at that level in the short term here. But if Tesla can push past the value area high, then there is a gap here. Maybe a little bit of volume at like 300 bucks psychological level. But then if it gets past that level, then ultimately long-term take profit target should probably be about 340 bucks for Tesla, because that's an area that a lot of people were buying and selling Tesla stock where it was trading sideways in November of 2024. Okay, I think that's a reasonable target. I don't know if Tesla can get past 340 bucks unless a lot of good news comes into play, if they get rid of tariffs, if more people are buying electric cars and switching over to EVs, then maybe you could see a $400 Tesla again. But I think realistically, 340 should be your long-term target on Tesla. All right, and I think there was like one last crypto I was going to look at, and that was going to be it for today. And I'm trying to see which one it was. First, Upholds. Okay, Upholds. Yep. Oh, that's right. Upholds an exchange. Yeah, right. Okay, I'll take a look at Solana real quick, and then we'll look at Bitcoin one last time here. Wow, Bitcoin is still climbing up. It's going up to the next price target that I had. All right, and let's take a look at Solana. Solana is also climbing up. I have a short-term take profit target on Solana at $147, but it looks like we already hit that level, 148 bucks. So, what's the next level for Solana? We do have some volume here at 168 bucks and also $180. I believe that's where the 200-day and 100-day is currently sitting at for Solana. Let me go into the moving averages here. Yeah, 100-day and 200-day is sitting at 180 bucks for Solana. That's the next take profit target. Once we push past 150, you might get a little bit of resistance from this 50-day sitting at $164, $65. But yeah, Solana's getting ready to start pumping along with Bitcoin here. Wow. Okay. Bearish. If Solana continues to be bearish for whatever reason, you might get some support off this white line at the 21 EMA, 125 bucks. I think that's also a VRVP level. If I turn on the VRVP here real quick, you'll see that the value area low, right? Value area low is sitting at 116 bucks, but I think there's also, there's a high volume node here at about 120, 129, 125 bucks. It's probably where Solana would make a higher low before it goes up to higher prices again. If it does decide to go down, it could just continue going up right now, like it's doing literally right now. Let's look at Bitcoin real quick to summarize things up here a little bit. Bitcoin, like I said, Bitcoin's point of control is sitting at $96,000. It's like a magnet. It's where a lot of people bought and sold Bitcoin over the last few months. Anybody that bought Bitcoin at $96,000 and can't handle the heat in the kitchen, they're going to want to get out at $96,000 just to say they broke even and they didn't take a loss on their Bitcoin purchase. So $96,000 is going to have a lot of sellers in that area. Okay. That is my next take profit target on Solana, since we already hit $93,000. And the reason why I was looking at $93,000 as a price target is because if I put on the moving averages here, you know, $93,000 was where the 100-day moving average is at for Bitcoin. That blue line right there. You know, if you look at this blue number right here, it says that $93,000 is going to be the next target for Bitcoin, and we just hit that today, just now. 93,000. We went up to 93,952. Okay. Let's take a look at the, you know, I'm looking at the RSI right now for Bitcoin at 66 on the RSI. That's almost close to being overbought. But if we look at like the 1 hour time frame, yeah, Bitcoin is a little bit cooked right now, a little bit overheated. Might be time to start short selling if you're a day trader. I mean, put your stop losses in tight though, okay, or at a reasonable level that you're willing to accept a loss. But we're looking to see if Bitcoin is going to make lower highs here on the RSI while making higher highs on the price, and that's a bearish divergence. And all that means is that Bitcoin could probably go sideways and probably even go down. If Bitcoin does go down on the 1 hour time frame, you do have the 21 EMA sitting at like 89,800. This white number right here, 89,879, could be where Bitcoin comes down to take a breather before it bounces off and goes up to higher prices again. We'll keep that in mind. I want something more than just one indicator giving me an idea as like where prices could come down if it does come down. Let's see the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame is showing that 21 EMA is at 87K. Yeah, okay. 8 hour time frame. All right, that 21 EMA crossing the red line right there, that could cause us to push up higher, probably to 96K. All right, but if price does come down, you do got support here at the 200 moving average and the 21 EMA at 85, 86K. But I want more than just, you know, we're just using the moving averages here. You want to use more than just the moving averages. I'll quickly do a fib retracement here from like $109,000 on Bitcoin down to the lows here at like 74.5K. And just fib level wise, right? The 0.5 retracement is at 91,958. But look at this, 0.618 is saying 96K. That 96K number keeps showing up again, right? That's going to be where a lot of people are probably going to take profit in the short term on Bitcoin. So I think we're still going to push up to 96K. We might come back down to 92K for the fib retracement level. People who are looking at the fib nodes here, they might start buying Bitcoin at that level. And then I'll do another Fibonacci analysis just off of this impulse move that we got going on here. Actually, no, I'll just measure from the lows here at 74K here again. So if I do another fib, right? Let me get rid of this one. You know, you got 0.236 level saying we could come down to 89K, and then you got the 0.382 level saying we could come down to 86.7K on Bitcoin. And you can see that these moving averages kind of coincide. The 8 hour time frame here coincides with 86, 87K. So yeah, if Bitcoin does come down, maybe 86, 87K is where we get a bounce. to higher prices again. But yeah, guys, congratulations to the cryptocurrency investors. We're having a good week so far. Let's see how the markets handle themselves later on this week with all this bullishness we got going on right now in cryptocurrency world. I'm still eyeballing 96K. That should be the level where Bitcoin's gonna have a little bit of trouble going higher. But if it doesn't have trouble going past 96K, then the next the next resistance level is going to be at 102K. And that was based on the VRVP saying that the value area high, this white line, at 102.5K. That's probably going to be a lot of resistance for Bitcoin to try to get past. Okay, 102.5K. But that's it, guys. I gotta go get some dinner now. I gotta go ahead and start dinner. But be on the lookout for my next live stream, probably around this time, the same time for tomorrow, about like 5 or 6 p.m. East Coast time. Okay. All right, guys. Good luck trading and investing in whatever asset you decide to get yourself into. And just a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just here giving you my opinions about Bitcoin and crypto. Try to treat it as an educational stream. And, you know, if I'm entertaining you guys, hey, I don't mind being an entertainer here as well. Take care, guys. See you in the next live stream.